Hello and welcome to GM Tips. This is GM Rick here with my mini GM who is having meltdowns over fingernails. To be 5, right? It's just, everything is wow and everything is It goes between the two, you know, and you find that to be the case when you're a dad and a gamer dad. So, but she did look up at the minis up there, some of the ones I have set aside for my Reign of Winter, and she's like, Dad, can I? I'm like, when you get older, I'll get you your own collection. So, I can tell the GM is in the making. Alright, so, what are we going to look at today? Remember, we went through this one before. It's called the Planes of Power. And we talked a little bit about elementals and elemental planes and just the sheer magnitude of power that are involved with them. But there's a reason why they're called Planes of Power, because they have the raw physical, creative power or destructive power of the 4 elements and their sub-element things that go along with it. So as a GM, I'm going to talk about using elementals in your campaign. Now this could apply to more modern campaigns. I'm going to tell you now that most of it probably is not. Though, don't get me wrong, you could use it in Hero System, you can use it in Hero System 4, you can use it in Mutants and Masterminds, you could use it in Marvel, you could use it in DC and their RPGs, you could use it in the mini-clicks, you could use it in many other things. It is usable. And again, space games, you could run into this on planets, certain planets, and certain areas, like near suns or stars. I'm not going to say you can't. It's just not the focus of my discussion here. So keep in mind, take what I say, and this is the great thing about these videos. You can take it and adapt it to any system. You really can. Can you take this to the Dresden Files? Oh, heck yes, you can. Can you take it to the New Faith RPG, which is a space-based one? Of course you can. Can you take it to Fate or Savage Worlds? Of course. Can you take it to the new Open Legend RPG? Easily crossable into that campaign. Can you take it to Dungeons and Dragons? Of course. Any of the versions go without saying. It's an integral part of the game. Pathfinder, Pure Steam, Pathfinder. You can take it into any of the different ones you want. It's just a matter of conversion. And you as the GM, the great part is you are the creator of your worlds. You are the creators of your systems. Yes, there are people that created the framework for you, but you literally are the one filling it all out. So that said, let's focus on the elementals and elemental creatures as NPCs and as creatures and boss encounter type of things against your players as you play a fantasy role-playing game. So pick any of your fantasy role-playing games. You guys know I throw out there 13th Age, Dungeon World. I throw out there kind of Numenera, because Numenera kind of falls into that with Monty Cook. It's kind of a space tech opera one. Of course, Paizo Pathfinder or any of the off-spin third-party Paizo campaign worlds, or not Paizo, but Pathfinder campaign worlds. Sorry, sorry, Wolfgang and the bunch. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Miss Stevens. I am very sorry for I know you're not insulted by it, but I know you guys would give me such a hard time for saying Paizo systems. They're not all Paizo. They are Pathfinder. I will correct myself in the middle. So, what are these different type of elemental creatures? Well, I love them because they span the Efreets, Djinns, Genies, Oreads, Nymphs, just the sylphs, the different types of elemental creatures, but there are so many more. As Paizo explains it, sorry, I got this at my feet saying hi to me because, you know, she's shameless at all levels. So what's going on with these different things, right, Daisy? Tell them what's going on. There's lots of different other creatures. Now, Paizo does a great job of mentioning the 4 different deities, and these are kind of the creator creatures or boss creatures that rule the realms of the elements. And Amanda Heyman Kuntz was the key developer on this one, though many others involved with it, because John Compton was in here, Paris Crenshaw, Eleanor Farron, Thurston Hillman, and Jessica Price. Jessica's got another one she was in. So this gives her 2 almost back-to-back that she did, so this is a good thing. And she's done many more. It's just having her name all over the book is even better. I know she's excited about doing more and more of these. So there are so many different creatures, and you got to know what these elemental creatures are. Zorns, a perfect example of an earth creature, an elemental creature. Each of these realms creates many different elemental creatures that you can work with. From the basic elements, so the water elementals, earth elementals, fire elementals, and the earth, water, fire, wind, ice, mud. There are many demi-planes that go with these as well. You have what's called the eldest, and the eldest are the most intelligent of these creatures that are these base, raw, elemental creatures. But there are many other creatures that live in these realms. Nephits, perfect example of a creature that is annoying. These are almost, shall I say, the quasits and the imps of the elemental realms are almost pests and pesky little fey creatures in a sense. They're not fey, but it's kind of like that, where they'd be the sprites or the other type of creatures. So keep in mind, there are some really interesting little creatures in these realms. But there's other things. The Argua, the Cinder Host, again, more type of elemental creatures. Of course, the lords themselves. The Miraju, the elemental infused creatures. There are many different types of things. The Ankushu, the Nephili, or Nephili, Azimats, Veldinar. There are many different types of creatures. This book is a great deal on the planes of power. And even if you're using other campaigns, it does a great job of just defining them out, giving you major cities in them, what's going on, how is the ruling councils, is it Jinn, is it Efreet, is it other type of creatures that are ruling these realms, where are the divisions, where are the different other types of things, because they got magmen, of course, you got salamander, you've got other ocean type of water creatures. These realms are the homes of these types of creatures. And so the neat thing is, when using elemental creatures to power a campaign and then to run into as NPCs, mind you, they are creatures of sheer energetic power. And they know they're powerful. Even the most simple of ones know their power compared to a human creature or a humanoid creature, a living creature. They know what they are, and they know how powerful they are, and they know the primal forces that flow within them. So keep in mind, when you run these creatures, they are very foreign to the living world. Yes, they're summoned in. Yes, they're used. But people truly do not most of your player characters do not understand them. I don't care how much the players studied on them. They just don't. Because of the foreignness of these realms. Mind you, the magma realm, the fire realm, is so different from anything you have ever seen in your life. It is not something. And that goes along with the city of brass. I mean, look at this. And you're going to tell me that players understand this. The sheer magnitude of having a ship that can float on lava and how hot it is. And that you're breathing that superheated air in. Other than if you use spells. It is called the eternal furnace of a realm. And it is. And it is so hot there that most creatures, even coming to the city of brass, have a hard time. It still is uncomfortable. They've made it as comfortable as possible for visitors, but mind you, it is not very comfortable. I mean, look at this. This is the Great Bazaar. Okay? Look at the flames on top of that. That's an Azir in there, selling goods. So very unique. It's like the plane of water. Everything is underwater. So if you got an underwater character, yes, no big deal. That's like the plane of air. Everything is floating in the sky. Okay, there are land masses, but let's be honest. There aren't a lot of them. And how do these planes touch each other, and what comes together? And how do they infringe and encroach on each other? I mean, there's your plane of air, where you're sailing through the air. Okay? And then the earth plane, where literally you hope you come out inside a tunnel that is carved, where the Shaitans are at. There's the major Shaitan city. Okay? It is so foreign. And then what is currency in these realms? Is it gold? Is it precious metals? Is it other type of things? Is it spells? Is it knowledge? What is the currency of the realm? These realms are different, and these creatures coming from these realms are different. So, go up and give an earth creature gold. That's food, okay? To a Zorn, the Zorn loves you, but he eats it. It's food, all right? So you've just handed him food in exchange for something powerful. Not going to happen. Okay, unless it's some sort of raw element that they don't get their hands on readily. Okay? Same thing when working with the Genie of that world. They're not going to. They're just not going to. So the Opaline Plane, you've got Shaitans on it, okay? The Shaitans are not interested in gold and silver. They're just not. That's so common on their world. And so when they come to the plane of your plane, and you're playing them, play them that way. They're not interested in the currency of the realm. They're interested in items that will help them with their elemental power, or something unique, or something that gives them an advantage over their adversaries. What are their adversaries? Who hates who? Do you think the plane of water loves the plane of fire, the internal furnace? No. How about earth and air? No. How about earth and fire? No. Fire tries to poison earth. So, are they friends? No. Water tries to flood the tunnels of earth. Are they friends? Not really. So, mind you, there are going to be creatures that deal with these type of elementals, but there is strong adversarial things going on. How often do they battle? How often do they come in touch with each other? Are they battling each other on the mortal world of whatever? Faerun, Greyhawk, Valerian, some other world? The ninth world? Are they coming to battle? Maybe. See, you got to dig in and understand these relationships. And there's lots of material on these. So, Wizards of the Coast puts out a lot of books in the elementals. So let me give you some ones, because those of you that love Wizards and D&D, which I used to too, and I still do, let's give you some of the different Dungeons and Dragons material on elements. So Dungeons and Dragons elementals material. All right. So the different elemental material, there's always Wikipedia that you can use, but there's also a D&D Wizards article on an elementary look at the planes, so look that up on the Wizards website. There's an SRD that talks a little bit about them. There was also an elemental book in 3.5. Let's see, 3.5 books. Gotta mind you, it's been a while since I played 3.5, so I gotta go back to these. Book of the Elements, that's what it was. Book of the Elements. That was a book I owned. I suggest if you have 3.5 or 5e to get the Book of the Elements, because it's written around the systems and the worlds that you're used to. But you can still use this, don't get me wrong. This is easily convertible to 3.5 and to 5. 4 you're going to have a little more fun with. But it is easily done. It's a D20 based system. It's easy to do. But understanding those relationships, there's different elemental lords, and these different ruling councils and groups in these planes have deposed some of these lords because some of these elemental lords were not good. They were evil. And so the other powers that be wanted them out of the way so that they could rule. They're not benevolent creatures. Okay? Genie, Janny, Jinn, Efreets, Oreads, Shaitans, Chitans, all kinds of other outer world creatures are not necessarily benevolent. Even if they're good aligned, they're not necessarily benevolent. And they're not necessarily mankind's protectors. So keep that in mind when you GM. These creatures are not going to be protectors. You need to show how fearsome they are. When you face an Efreet, it is not like facing an orc. Okay? There is no comparison between the two. Even a bulked up barbarian orc does not compare to a class NPC, Efreet, or Jinn. They are a handful. They're as powerful as some of the most powerful devils and angelic creatures and demons and even daemons. So keep that in mind when you play these. All right, so it's a small dive. I got a phone call coming in. So hope you guys have a great week and use more elements.